How did the elephant ITC move into FMCG and make it dance?
It's a difficult category to, it's not an easy category to develop.
My next set of questions requires you to lean back and relax.
So are you saying I'm not relaxing now?
No, you're too attentive. I would say just lean back and relax because those are small fun questions. Welcome to Economic Times Digital, Mr. Puri, and thank you so much for taking time to explain to us how did the elephant ITC move into FMCG and make it dance. Let me start with the first question. Why did you feel the need that ITC needs to now step into and make a big foray into FMCG?
First of all, thank you for having me on this program. Well, ITC had always looked at diversification for a fair bit of time. However, we felt that towards the end of the last decade or early 2000, we felt that we needed to leverage our institutional strengths and create another powerful engine of growth for our stakeholders. And by that time, the Indian economy had opened up in the 90s, so the Indian economy was also transforming. The Indian economy was globalizing. So, and that's what also provides enormous opportunity, because the economy was transforming and would get into another trajectory of growth. So that's the reason we looked at the opportunities in the market. Where is it that we can create a large engine of growth? Where is the headroom to grow? And where is it that our institutional strengths can be leveraged to create that new engine of growth? Given that it was a competitive landscape, we believe that to succeed and to succeed more efficiently, more economically, you had to bring something special onto the table. And that's where the role of institutional strengths came in. In fact, just to give you some data in the context of this point, the turnover that we have created in the FMCG business of 19,000 crores, it's created at about 1.7 to 2x of our top line. Analysts estimate if we had done it inorganic, it would actually cost us 4 to 5 times. So the journey has also been accomplished with a level of efficiency. So that was really the opportunity and the driver. And we saw that in some of our traditional business, maybe the headroom to grow over a long period of time. When I'm saying long, I'm not talking of 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Every institution has to thrive for a century, for 50 years. When we look at a real long term, I think the headroom to grow there was getting limited. And therefore, we needed to create another large economic engine that can create value for all stakeholders.
Okay, so take us back to early 2000s when ITC was making the foray into FMCG. India is known to be a market with varied tastes. There are a lot of regional players involved. So how does ITC decide to enter these markets? What is the route that they take? Specifically, if we are talking about the southern market or the northern market, like ITC did with the spice business recently, how does ITC decide whether to opt for the inorganic strategy or for the organic strategy?
So this aspect was not new to us. We were always an organization which had distributed trade marketing and distribution operators across the country. We had multiple branches, and that gave us knowledge of the local situation, the local context. And we knew about it because of our traditional business also. We knew about it because we had hotels in many places. We knew about the fact that cuisine tastes are different. We also had an agri business, which has perspectives in rural in different parts of India, and we knew the difference. So this knowledge of the diversity of India was there, and that has certainly been one principle when we are creating our products, which have always to be ideally first time to the market, a unique format, or at the minimum it has to be differentiated and superior. So you certainly factor in the local requirements. So, the Ashirwad atta you get in the south is not the same that you get in other parts of the country. It's different, and so it's so for many other categories. So this is factored in certainly in our product development and the portfolio strategy. And it's also reflected in our media strategy, the language you use, the manner in which it is communicated, the role that the brand plays in a certain part may be different. You see, the North is an atta eating market. For the South, atta is relatively new. So the communication also has to be appropriately tailored. So all these are definitely factored in. Now, how do we decide to and where do we enter? Of course, it depends first on the opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity could be regional, so it's very targeted. Sometimes the opportunity is pan-India. Even if the opportunity is pan-India, we will not go into all the places together. We would, of course, first want to test it out in certain markets. And while the opportunity may be pan-India, the product for a specific geography may be different based on the local requirements. So that's the approach you kind of take and then scale it up. The third facet of inorganic, see, we have an idea on how our portfolio should evolve over time. And it's around, at a high level, as part of ITC Next, it's about scaling up our mega brands. It's about addressing adjacencies to mega brands. The third piece is creating categories of the future. So and within that, we have ideas of what kind of segments are available. Now, all these segments can be created organic or inorganically. So in most cases, you can create it organically. In some cases, we may find that to do it organically may be very difficult, very expensive. So you may say that, yes, I want to get in. When I get an acquisition target, I will get in. Otherwise, I will not. But most places, both options are available. And the options for inorganic are limited in India. So you typically prioritize and work on developing it organically. If something comes up in an inorganic space in those areas and you get it at the right value, then we go for it and there is a strategic fit. That's the way we approach it broadly. Now, spices is a very local business and the taste of the food is very important. Lot of local nuances are concerned. It's a difficult category it's not an easy category to develop. So if we have opportunity there, certainly it's an interesting category that we will like to do more acquisitions like Sunrise.
So Puri, you've been in this business with ITC, the biggest FMCG company, for over 2 decades. How do you look at the average Indian consumer? And how do you think FMCG companies, I mean, what's the perspective like from your learnings?
So, I think the average Indian consumer is very smart, much more aware than he was earlier. And there is a multitude of needs that the consumer has today. He has need for convenience, he has needs for indulgence. There are a set of consumers who have needs as far as health and nutrition is concerned, right? So different sort of needs. There are regional preferences are very strong. Even within the states, you can find some differences in the manner that certain things are consumed. So the diversity is large in India.
If you were to talk to a 21-year-old getting out of MBA who has ambition to become you and gets this opportunity, in your playbook, what would be the key learnings or the steps from your experiences of the last 2 decades?
First, I will always say it's about we did it. It's not an I. I is an impossibility.
So that's the first learning.
Right.
It's always
a
we
team,
instead
it's
of
a
I.
team that succeeds, right?
Absolutely.
No individual can succeed, right? So it's always about, that's very important. It's about we succeeding, right? So I think the lessons, it's been a journey that has, where we've learned a lot. So if I was to call out a few things, one is definitely that play to your strengths. So we've tried to get into areas where some institutional capacity could be leveraged. Second is definitely that product quality being superior. When you are a challenger, if your product quality is second best, you will be completely ignored by the consumer. So it has to be the best. And you have to come to the market with innovation and differentiation. So you need to invest in research and development. You need to create intellectual property. You also need to create some powerful brands. And creating brands requires a lot of commitment, a lot of perseverance. So you have to stay the course. You have to stay the course. You should be ready, and you should be determined. But create brands with purpose, because brands encapsulate a lot of investments in media, but we should use it in a manner that also helps us address certain societal issues and concerns, right? Like, Savlon supports sanitation and hand hygiene. Vivel supports women's empowerment. Yippee supports recycling, and all integrated into the brand. These are not add-ons to the brand. These are all integrated into the brands. You have to embrace digital and technology per se. These are very, very critical for success. Technology for process and manufacturing, and digital in every facet. It has to be a digital first culture. We have to continuously learn from our mistakes. As you go along the journey, there will be some successes, there will be some things that don't work out. So how do you deal with those situations? Are you able to detach your emotions from the failure and step back and sometimes say, okay, this has not worked, I won't pursue this further, but here is what I have learned out of it. In our journey, we were into greeting cards, and we realized that it's a category that is more moving towards digitization, and therefore, instead of that, we pivoted to our education and stationery business, which is a market leader today. So we should be able to switch gears also. We should be agile. We should never, along with being agile, we should never lose sight of the consumer, especially as the organization becomes bigger and bigger. Never lose sight of the consumer. Right? So these are some of the learnings, that I would call out for now. Yeah.
My next set of questions requires you to lean back and relax.
So are you saying I'm not relaxing now?
No, you're too attentive. I would say just lean back and relax, because those are small, fun questions inspired by Karan Johar rapid fire round. How does Sanjiv Puri relax on his weekends?
So, my routine is doing some meditation, and in the morning, and exercises in the evening, and a bit of television or socialization. That's what it is right now.
Any movies, music?
That's on the television. I used to go to the
Right.
the periods early, but
Okay.
now I tend to watch it because there is so
On
much
screen.
available on the
On
screen
the
itself,
OTT
itself.
How about sport? You watch any sport or prefer to go for any sport?
Well, I watch sports when India is playing, whenever I can.
That's
So
cricket.
that's the time. Cricket, or if India is playing hockey or anything, I would, and if I have the opportunity, I'll certainly watch it. So that's the time I watch. On my own, I'm not doing much sports now. I have in between dabbled in golf, but not right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So entertainment is your way to relax. Meditation is your way to keep yourself fit and sanity checked to run such a large corporation.